So today's video is going to be about lenses, and in particular we're going to talk about three lenses here that I've got in my hand. These three are Canon's cheapest RF lenses for the Canon EOS R mount system cameras. So this can be any camera that has the R mount, such as the RP, the EOS R, R6, R5, the R3, the newer R5C, whatever it is you want to use them for. Especially if you're on a budget, these are the cheapest RF lenses that Canon offers right now on the market. So I want to talk about exactly why these three lenses are so good and why I think it's a great idea to have these three in your kind of arsenal of lenses, especially if you are working on that kind of tight budget. You don't want to go for an L series lens, but you still want great quality lenses. So what I have here are three fantastic lenses, and like I said, these are Canon's cheapest RF lenses, and they're all prime lenses. Prime lenses are basically lenses that don't have a zoom function, essentially, meaning they have a fixed focal length. And these lenses are really good quality built lenses, but they're your budget friendly lenses that you can pick up for a couple of £100 and you don't have to worry about paying the premium like you do with some of the L series lenses. Now we're going to start with the one on the far left here, so my far left here. So this is the Canon RF 50mm f1.8 lens, your nifty 50. This is the cheapest RF lens that Canon offers at about £220 RRP. You can probably get it for cheaper used, but this is an absolute fantastic lens. It's a nifty 50, meaning every photographer, every videographer should have one of these in their camera bag. Your photo images with this is amazing. The focal length is absolutely perfect for things like portrait photography or even product photography. And in terms of video, this lens is great for filming B-roll. So if you're doing those nice product B-roll shots, and with such a low aperture like an f1.8, this gives your crispy, narrow depth of field with that nice kind of blurry background look, that bokeh in the background, that crispy bokeh in the background that you want. It's not as, blurry as you would get with the L series version of this, which is the 50mm f1.2. I think you have the f1.2 version. The 1.2 version is absolutely phenomenal. It's a super fast lens, but it also costs about 10 times, if not more, than what this costs. So it's about £2,000 to £3,000, whereas this is about £200. Very affordable, also very small. Now the RF lenses all have this control ring at the front. Now with the 50mm lens, you have the option of either using this as a control ring or as the focus ring. So you have that choice. You have a little switch here that you can toggle between, and that allows you to choose either focus or control. And honestly, I've used this a ton. A lot of the B-roll that you see in my videos of products or of things is done with the 50mm lens, because it just gives you that nice focal length, a nice narrow depth of field as well. A lot of the photography I do is with the 50mm lens, especially of things like product photography. I do, and I always have this in my bag, literally always. This is the one lens that pretty much lives in my bag. I always find myself reaching out for it, especially when I'm doing portrait photography of people. This is an absolute fantastic lens to have. So there you go, that's the nifty 50. Great price, great lens, an absolute must have. Then in the middle here I have the Canon 35mm f1.8 lens. It's a little bit bigger than the 50mm, despite the fact that it's a lower focal length. However, this is an absolute insane lens. I've actually only gotten this recently. This RRP is about £520, and it's more expensive than the 50mm. It's a lot heavier as well. It's slightly bigger and slightly heavier, but it's still a 1.8 lens. But the 35mm look is absolutely fantastic, guys. 35mm is the natural full frame look that you're going to get from your cameras. Your old school film cameras had that 35mm look, and this basically mimics that. I found this to be a great kind of all-round lens. It's not too wide, but it's wide enough that I can use it for a lot of video work. Autofocus on this is quite good. It's a fast lens, meaning that it's got a low aperture. It's got that 1.8 aperture as well. Nowadays, I don't really keep my aperture at 1.8. I think 2.8 is the kind of sweet spot that I found most of it to be. I've kind of chased my son around with this quite a lot around the house, filming him and taking photos of him, and the image quality that comes out of this is absolutely fantastic. It's really good. It's really sharp. It does still give you that really nice bokeh in the background, being 35mm and having that nice crispy 1.8 bokeh in the background. It's actually fantastic. Not only that, it's a macro lens, so if you're getting those close-up shots, especially when you're doing product shots and whatever kind of other photography you're going to do, you can get really nice and close, and it gets those really detailed shots for you. And it's an image stabilizer. stabilized lens. You've got the stabilizer option here, which is on or off, which is why it's a heavier lens. It has inbuilt, lens stabilization. It's got IS built into the lens, and that's what makes it so good, especially for video work. If you don't have a camera with in-body stabilization, or even you have a camera with in-body stabilization, pair that with this, you're going to get some really stable footage even without a gimbal. You can see here how stable this is, and this is shot with the Canon EOS R, just for reference. The Canon EOS R with this lens and image stabilization and the digital stabilization on the Canon EOS R, and now if you have all of the image stabilization turned off, you can see the massive difference that you have between the two footages. One is a lot more shaky, and with the image stabilization on this thing, it's a world of difference. Last but not least, we have here on the far right, this lens is the Canon 16mm f2.8. This is one of Canon's newest RF series lenses that they announced, I think, a couple of months ago. I say a couple of months ago, it's been a while now. I think alongside the Canon EOS R3, this lens came out. This is a 16mm lens, so it's super wide, right? It's that wide look that you're going to want when you're especially doing things like vlogging, taking landscape photography, those kind of things. That super wide angle look. It's very similar in build quality and size to the Nifty 50. It's a little bit smaller than the Nifty 50, but overall it's pretty much the same thing in terms of what it looks like. This 16mm, however, it's a prime f2.8, so it doesn't go as far down as a 1.8. It is a 2.8, and personally, I think that's absolutely fine. Some of my previous videos about the Fifine mic that I did, as well as the unboxing that I did for the Elgato key light, were filmed on this, and you can see how wide those look. And I actually really like that look, because especially when you're vlogging, I tend to use the 24mm, which is what I've got on my Canon R6 right now, filming me right now. The 24mm Sigma f1.4 lens, having a 16mm is so much better. You get so much more in the frame, you get so much more in your shot. It's much better. You're holding it out, you don't have to hold it out as far as I do with the 24mm, and the fact that it's so tiny means that it doesn't add a significant amount of weight to the camera. So when I've been vlogging and when I've been out and about and I've been doing some testing with the vlogging with this lens, I found that my arm doesn't get anywhere near as tired as it does with the slightly bulkier 24mm. This thing being so nice and small, it is absolutely a fantastic bonus. Now, similar to the 50mm here, this 16mm also offers that control ring, and it gives you the option to switch between focus and control. I tend to keep it on the control because I do like having my ISO control with this. And of course, it's not image stabilized. It's not like the 35mm. It doesn't have inbuilt image stabilization, lens stabilization. So if you do have this on something like the Canon EOS R, having that digital stabilization on its own might not be enough. Your footage might be quite a bit more shaky. But if I'm using it on the R6 and I'm vlogging with the R6, which does have in-body stabilization, then it is a little bit better. I'm going to do an entire review video on this just on its own, in terms of doing an entire kind of vlog video with this, just to show you guys the quality that this thing produces, and give kind of my honest opinion. I did also get this only very recently, so I haven't had a huge amount of time, but from what I have used it for, it's served me quite well, especially with my static videos where I've never had a problem with it. It gets that wide angle. If I'm doing kind of product review videos, you get more of my hands in the shot, you get more of my torso and the body in the shot. So having the 16mm definitely does help. So there you have it, guys. Those are the three lenses that I would recommend. Price wise, they're really good. You've got your Nifty 50 at £220, you've got your RF 35mm at £520, and you've got the RF 16mm at £320. RRP prices, they're pretty small and compact, meaning that you save space in your bag, and they produce great quality photo and video. Need I say more? I think that especially if you're on a budget and you're not looking to get that higher priced L series lenses, these are not only just great alternatives, these will probably do the job for you for a very long time. I use these for a lot of my professional work as well, and the 35 and the 50mm especially have done absolute wonders for me once I'm doing that, especially in terms of portrait photography and candid photography. They work really well. I've said that about 1,000 times now. So I'm gonna stop there, guys. That's my video, kind of brief overview of these three lenses. I personally have really enjoyed using them. Fantastic lenses, do go and grab them. I'm gonna put some links to these lenses in the description box down below. These are Amazon affiliate links. If you do use them, then I will get a small amount of commission. If you guys enjoyed today's video, then make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy my videos in general. And if you want to know exactly when my next video comes out, then hit that notification bell. Until next time, guys, this is Kai24 with my RF lenses, signing out.